Hey guys.
Hey, it's us again.
Yeah, it's we're doing the anime podcast again. We decided we're gonna do another episode. We liked how the last one turned out. We didn't really like the fact that we had some issues with the way that we formatted it. There was a lot of copyright issues that we kind of were expecting, but we weren't expecting sort of the lengths that they went to.
Yeah.
And we don't have really the resources to kind of pour into a video and then have to deal with, okay, well, this is getting copyrighted, so we're going to have to like re-upload and do all that. And we want this episode's going to be about Hero Aka, My Hero Academia.
Season 5 came out.
Season 5 came out today. We've both watched it. And we decided we're going to talk about this, and we wanted to get this out pretty quickly, so you probably are going to see this like the Sunday the 28th or something. So if you're looking at it and you go, why is there no picture on this podcast? That's why.
Because we don't want to deal with more problems.
Yeah. Is that basically we're going to try and keep it simple.
So feel free to put something else on as you listen to us.
So yeah, feel free to like browse whatever. So just so people are aware, there should be a time code down in the description and in the bar about if you don't want to hear. So we're going to use this podcast to talk about the fact that I don't really like season 4. I think that season 4 of My Hero is a huge disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use the word garbage because that has a very specific connotation within kind of the anime community of like something that's unwatchable. I think it's watchable, but I think compared to
the rest of My Hero,
compared to seasons 1 through 3, it's very poor. Seasons 1 through 3 of Hero Aka range kind of in that 7 to 9 range of like a show, and it's kind of dependent on the arc. Like the tournament arc's obviously a 9. The Camino invasion arc is a 9, but some of the other stuff's only kind of an 8, and then some of the stuff's a 7. I think season 4 is kind of a 5. And we're going to spend a lot of time, I think, talking about that. So,
if you already know what season 4 is like.
4. So if you're watching this and you haven't finished season 4 and you want to, there's going to be spoilers in that discussion. If you have finished season 4 and you want to hear my thoughts on it and why I think that, that's going to come up. But then if you just want to hear about season 5, for whatever reason, like you haven't finished season 4, but you don't want to sit through this, you can also skip to that. We'll give you our thoughts in a non-spoilery way, and then we're going to talk kind of about the spoilers of the episodes itself. So we're going to kind of talk about season 5, and do we think it's, how do we thought about this particular episode, and then we're going to kind of get into spoilers of where do we think this episode's kind of leading up to, and where does it go, etc., etc. You got anything you want to say?
I think that's about it.
All right. So, spoilers for season 4 from here on out. That's probably going to flash up on the screen for you. So skip to the time code or whatever. So I don't like season 4.
Clearly.
He says clearly because I literally watched the final. I had 4 episodes left to go in the season when I dropped it. I didn't have super strong feelings. I'm going to go on to Crunchyroll and I'm going to open up the series so I can look at each episode.
Gotcha.
I'm in the beta. I don't want to be in beta. I want to be in the normal. Because it's hard. I don't know how to navigate the episodes yet. Oh my god, it's leaving me in the beta. Okay, we're going over. Jeez, super professional. So I didn't rewatch Overhaul and the provisional licensing exam.
Right.
So I didn't rewatch those. So I'm going to do my best not to refer to those in ways where I'm going to really break down the plots.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not really fair to the show to kind of be like, here it is, but I am going to have the episode so I can kind of like go based on my memory what happens. I freely admit at this point that I may have forgotten bits and pieces. So if I did and I left anything out and you think it's important, feel free to comment it below and be like, well, see, they actually covered that here and you just forgot. And I will totally accept that. I'll go rewatch it and I'll issue a retraction if you're correct. I have the integrity. But I don't think season 4 is good. And the reason, there's kind of two primary reasons for that. The first is that I just kind of feel like the overall stakes of this season are so up and down compared to the other. Like, My Hero has had this great sort of progression of stakes as it's gone along, where the stakes kind of build, and they're building, and they're building, and they're building, and then we get to season 4, and the stakes have kind of cratered. Where it's less, oh, we need to stop these villains because they're going to wreak havoc, and more like, it basically just more like, they can't invade the school because the school might shut down. And there's sort of this tie-in where, have you ever heard of this paradox of what happens when you raise the stakes too high as an author?
Oh, yeah, I forget what exactly it's called, but
yeah,
I know what you're talking
but it's
about.
this idea that if the stakes of your story is that the main character is going to die, the audience kind of tends to tune that out a little.
Right.
Because they look at those stakes and they're like, well, clearly you're not going to do that because there's going to be no more story. So there's this game of chicken you have to play as an author where it's the stakes are relatively high enough that the audience is invested, but still low enough that the hero can fail.
Right.
Shonen's kind of sidestep this problem because they're the sorts of stories where the hero's probably going to win anyway. But that's not necessarily always true. For instance, I'm going to use a One Piece arc, Water Down or Water 7, right?
Water 7
gets taken.
Yeah.
Right, that's a fantastic arc where the stakes are literally really high.
Yeah.
On one hand, right, is like for Robin, these stakes are massive, and for the crew, and the fact that they're gonna lose their friend, but they're not so high that we're the story can't go on. The story could function just fine without Robin. So that's why that story, the stakes are so good,
right? Because
feasibly, the author could have Luffy lose. Luffy and the Straw Hats lose. Which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically I forget what episodes it is. I'm not going to look it up.
It's in the 300s.
It's like Water 7, right?
It is, yeah. It's Water 7, which leads to Enies Lobby.
Enies Lobby.
Impel Down's an entirely different one, which is also good, but different reasons.
Yeah, but the Water 7 Enies Lobby arc in One Piece is, I think... I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say another hot take opinion in the middle of my hot take opinion rant. Enies Lobby is the best arc in One Piece, and it's the only one that I would say is required watching.
As the One Piece aficionado, I would argue otherwise.
It's required watching in the sense of if you aren't for me, that arc is One Piece at its most core.
Yes, I will agree with that in saying that arc is circumstantial to the rest of the story from that point onwards. There's an entire shift in things.
And not only that, but I think if you watch that arc is the heart and soul of what One Piece is as a show is at the most display in that arc.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So if you're ever on the fence of whether or not I should watch it, this is not the podcast for that. B, go watch the Enies Lobby arc, and if you like what you see, understand that's basically the best the show is. So the rest of the show's not quite as good, but if
and C, if you want us to do a One Piece thing, comment down below.
I'm more than happy to listen to Daniel talk about One Piece. I'm not catching up. It's not happening. If you promise me in the comments that if I set up a Patreon and you donate $1,000,
Daniel
I will sit down and I will watch the entirety of One Piece so that we can have that discussion.
Otherwise, it'll just be me talking to him, and then he'll just throw in Enies Lobby again.
Yeah. Okay. So
back to what we're here for.
So we were talking about stakes, right? Is that Enies Lobby has really good stakes. I feel like on one hand, it's a good idea to kind of step down the stakes a little. But the stakes of this season are so all over the place.
Yeah, they needed...
And they don't build. It does, the season itself doesn't rebuild up to really strong stakes. Overhaul starts... Overhaul has really good stakes, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, Overhaul is really good, but then they have this, Not even like a gentle drop off. It's like a cutoff.
Yeah, so like Overhaul has this really good stakes in that the stakes are Aries survival, which is huge, right? She's a character introduced in this arc, so it's very likely they're going to kill this little girl. Like, that is totally a thing that could happen.
Yeah.
In terms of the broader narrative stakes, this is like the first big test the heroes have had. Like, the heroes in general, what I mean is, like, if you watched Hero Acca, I mean, like,
the students.
The Heroes Association, not just like Deku and the class. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I mean the Hero Society at large is having to reinsert themselves following this fall of All Might. So it's like, if they can't beat what is essentially up to this point has been established as like this low level player, like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
And then for our hero, he and Mirio have this guilt, this guilt of the fact that they didn't save Eri.
Like, you know, like the
they
first
were so scared.
4 episodes.
Yeah, is like they were so scared of having to actually fight Overhaul because they were told he was dangerous and everything, that they failed her. And they have this great emotional... You know what I mean?
Wasn't it? Sorry, it's been a while since I've watched 4. I didn't skim back over it, but I have a vague memory of what happened. But wasn't it that, like, what's his face? Night Eye or something like that? All Might's apprentice or whatever. Sir Night Eye, yeah. Wasn't it that he was like, this dude is dangerous, but we're also investigating him. Don't engage if you run into him or something?
Yes, and so they run into him, and he has Eri, and they're like,
yeah, I remember. She like runs, and she's like, "Help me" or something. Then she's like, "I'm her father."
It's not that she's saying "help me," but it's like the fact that they know that she needs their help,
right?
And they fail her in that moment because they're so scared. Because, like, you know, they're like, "Oh, we've been told that this is a big bad guy. We can't have this fight," and so they have this really strong guilt over this, and I think that's awesome. Okay. I will go on record of saying Overhaul is a great arc. Overhaul is still really good, My Hero.
Yeah. How about we split season 4 into Overhaul and then the
and then the rest.
Yeah.
So Overhaul. So the season 4 I kind of split into. I've done it into 5 arcs.
Mm-hmm.
There's Overhaul. There's the provisional license exam. There's the school festival / gentle criminal. I'll probably refer to it in 2 terms because when we get to that, it really is 2 separate arcs that are kind of being tried to cram together. I'm going to call it the Endeavor arc, and I'm going to call it the Survival Test arc.
Right.
So the problem with the stakes is that you go from Overhaul having these really good but still low stakes to the provisional licenseship exam arc, which is like, as an arc, it's wholly unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's adding this layer of bureaucracy to the world, which is not what you want.
Right.
It does eventually tie into Gentle Criminal's background a little, but this idea of like, oh, to be heroes you need a license, and like we're gonna send you on this provisional exam to get a provisional license and all of that. And then it has the problem of later on the survival test kind of ends up being out of place because the survival test is supposedly they're training for the provisional license exam that they pass now.
Yeah.
So it kind of screws up the overall structure of the story of like, is the survival test supposed to happen before this arc? You know what I mean?
So what they could have done that made it a lot better was like, aren't they in their like 2nd year now or something? Or am I wrong?
No, I believe they're in the 2nd semester.
Oh, wow.
Of their first year. They're still first years because they're still class 1A, which if you don't know Japanese culture, the number is your year.
Ah, okay. I thought it was like that was your set number or recognition, whatever, for your entire time.
So they're still first years. The final exam arc at the end of season 1, 2, I forget which, 2. That was for their summer. They were going into summer break, so they were having like a final exam.
I'm confused by Japanese schooling, but continue.
Japanese schools, they start the school year in April, not in August. Okay. Is basically the difference.
That's why I was so confused.
Yeah. So my problem with this is that like the provisional license exam. Holy shit. This entire arc, to me, the stakes just aren't there.
They could have done like this is at the end. Like, they could have made it like this was the end of your like trial period, quote unquote, to see if you would like drop out of the school or whatever, and like now that you've gotten this far, here is your license.
Yeah. It also could have been better if, for instance, the overall structuring of the narrative could have been better if it was survival test, PLE, festival, overhaul, endeavor.
Yeah.
Or endeavor, overhaul. But the problem is that overhaul needs to become before festival. Just in terms of the story, like it needs to.
Yeah.
The festival arc cannot happen the way it's set up without overhaul coming first.
At the very least, they could have done overhaul and then like dipped into the festival. Like, hey, we just beat this big asshole. Let's have a party.
So it's like going from overhaul to festival at the very least still is bad because festival stakes are.
No, yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with the festival. But I'm just saying, like,
the festival arc is that its stakes are very not
mediocre.
Is that like there is some emotional stakes. Okay, so the emotional stake for Deku is Eri. Is that like it's like Eri's gone through this traumatic event, and Deku and Mirio still feeling guilty to some degree. They want to help her, and they want to kind of like bring her out of this sort of
depression.
She's basically been abused her entire life. They want her to. In the show, it's her to smile, and it's really just they want her to be happy. They want her to see that like there's still good in the world, basically.
Right. Because
and this is
Overhaul is the biggest asshole.
Yes. So the problem with Festival is that that's Deku's thing.
Right.
It's wedged in between this problematic arc for Jiro that we're going to get into later about why Jiro's arc is problematic in terms of sort of a fundamental flaw with the series. I don't think it's so bad in Festival. I think it's all right. It's nice in that like she actually gets a little bit of character, but
instead of being the goth girl over there.
Yeah. And it has Gentle Criminal and La Brava.
Which are a thing.
Which is a thing. So
really weird thing. Like
yes.
Like way out there kind of thing.
So one of the reasons I hate Festival is the fact that they want Gentle Criminal and La Brava have their stakes there. But the narrative literally just like takes those stakes out at the knee.
Right.
Is that like the stake is that like Gentle Criminal. So like here's some spoilers. First of all, if we're going to talk about it, I hate La Brava's design. Yeah. I hate it. She and I think his name is Minata or something like that. Minata. You know, the purple hair guy with the
grape
balls.
Juice.
They're like yeah, grape juice. They're the only two people with this design in the entire show, which for Minata as the kind of the comic relief character is fine. But for La Brava's function in the story, it's just fucking creepy.
Yeah, because isn't she actually supposed to be like a second grader?
So first of all, we hope.
Yeah.
Let me put this out here. We hope La Brava is over the age of 18.
Right.
Neither her character design nor her backstory makes this clear.
Nope.
Gentle Criminal is, at best, in his late 20s.
Yeah.
At the worst, he's in his 30s or 40s.
I was thinking 30s.
Yeah. So, and the problem is that literally La Brava and Gentle Criminal are supposed to be in love, which is why this is already problematic.
Yeah. What the shit?
I don't want to know.
I'll tell you.
Look it up?
I looked up their ages.
All right, give it to me. What are their canonical ages?
So La Brava is 21.
No fucking way.
No fucking way. And then let me see. Gentle Criminal. Gentle Criminal is 32.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put it out there. That's still a little creepy. It's better.
It's better than we thought.
But the narrative itself never supports this. It supports that Gentle Criminal's in his 30s. Okay. Like I said, late 20s, early 30s.
There's no fucking way.
La Brava has like 3 flashbacks, one of which is to middle school.
It doesn't even look like middle school. It looks like kindergarten.
Yeah, because of like her character design. She looks like she's 7.
And she
But it
remains
flashes
7.
her back to middle school. Then it says, because of middle school, I was a shut-in. So then I found Gentle, and now I'm with Gentle. Nowhere in there does it imply that, let's see, in Japan, middle school is, for here, 6th to 9th grade, I believe. No, 7th to 9th grade.
Gotcha.
So at worst, she'd be 13. At best, she's, or worst, she's 12. At best, she's 15-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere does it imply that she aged 6 years.
No.
Nowhere. So that's already a problem. So this is already a problem, and it's deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you can suspend your disbelief for this, moving on to their actual relationship, the issue that I have with it is that it pits these two people who, honestly, like, you feel bad for them. LaBrava's big problem is the fact that, like, she sent a really cringy love letter to a guy, and, like, I'm all with him, where he's like, the shit she was saying sounds like she was stalking me. Solid, bro. Like, you're well in your rights to be like, this was fucking creepy. She's never talked to me. Yeah, I think she's stalking me. Solid. Okay. But Gentle Criminal basically tried to be a good guy. It didn't work out. People got hurt, and so he became a social outcast.
Because he failed his whatever exam.
Yeah, it wasn't even that he failed his exam. Well, I mean, he kept failing the exam, but it was like he tried to save somebody, but
and then he fucked up a hero's
basically
life.
comedy and errors, and that person died.
He pretty much Wile E. Coyote'd it.
Yeah, and like his life is just ruined by it. And I think in some ways it's supposed to be a kind of like Stain, where it's a criticism on the society.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with it, and I'll talk about this, is. And I'm talking about it. The problem with it is that Gentle Criminal and LaBrava, the worst things that they're doing is they're basically internet pranksters.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember. I don't remember them doing anything that's like super bad. I think maybe they rob somebody.
No, they like rob like a 7-Eleven and they record it.
Yeah. So it's like at worst they're robbing like at worst they're petty criminals. You know what I mean? But the end of Gentle Criminal, like his fight with Deku, is he basically is like, I'm not going to let LaBrava get like brought in and be called my accomplice, so I'm going to say that I kidnapped her. The next episode,
adds
the
to
very
more.
start.
Wait, hold up. That adds some more inclination of her being a child.
Yes, it does. Because he's like, I kidnapped this little girl or something like that. It's just weird. And it makes me deeply uncomfortable. I get where they're going, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't support this. It's already too weird.
They also kind of tried to make her, what's her name? The orange-haired chick from Persona 5.
Oh, Futaba?
Yeah, Futaba. They like tried to make her like the super hacker, and they like never explained why. They're like, she was a shut-in. Automatically, she is a super computer hacker.
I don't care about that. Like, okay.
I was like, this is weird, even more.
Yeah, it's weird because she seems like she's 12, you know? But my problem with it is that, so you have this big emotional moment, you know, where like Gentle has realized the errors of his ways and he's trying to actually save somebody.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, this does not work.
No.
This does not work. This does not work for very fundamental reason. For maybe not fundamental reasons, but at the start of the next episode, literally the like hero who's like arresting him with Deku's around, like these damn internet pranksters we're gonna go take you down to the Koban, which is basically just like where two on-duty cops hang out to like help people who need help with directions and are like a community lost and found. Yeah. He's like, we're gonna go take you down there and you're gonna answer to them, you damn internet pranksters. So it's like, oh, good. You literally just chopped the knees out of this entire emotional arc.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you're basically saying what they were doing is so, which is good because on one hand you're like, these people don't deserve to go to prison.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they do. Okay, they robbed convenience stores. Okay, so they are thieves.
They at least need to go to prison for a short amount of time, but they're not like fucking overhaul.
But like they don't need like a light. They need like a slap on the wrist. You know what I mean?
Community service.
You know, yeah, they need some community service. You know, but they aren't like hardened criminals.
Go
but
go
so the
grab the trash
narrative
off the
acknowledges
side of the
that,
highway.
but by acknowledging that, they also acknowledge that like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it isn't. What's the hero that like shows up like for no apparent reason after the fight? It's like
Hound Dog.
Hound Dog. He's just like, you should have just let us like stop them.
You should have just called us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Oh, and here's the problem. Just to point out, Hound Dog, for like when we come up on this later, Hound Dog tells Deku, "You have a provisional license. That doesn't mean that you get to just be a hero." Okay.
which adds some more questions of why they even got the license.
Which adds to questions as to why the survival test is where it is. Okay,
That too.
But we'll get there. So the reason Gentle Criminal in Labrava's big emotional ending doesn't work is that Gentle just kind of says, "Oh, I was only living for myself, but now I want to do something for Labrava." This doesn't work because Gentle tried to be a hero, and he was trying to persevere through so many personal failures that you have to believe it wasn't just because he wanted the money.
Yeah.
B, he legitimately told Labrava not to work with him because he does crime and he doesn't want to get her in trouble. So already we get the idea that Gentle Criminal is not that bad a guy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have her around because she made his ego feel better. I believe there's a... I don't exactly remember this, so I could be wrong, but I believe there's a flashback in one of the earlier episodes to this where Gentle is like, when Labrava first shows up and Gentle notices that she kind of doesn't really have anything else but kind of showing up and being with him, and so that's why he lets her do it. I believe that's kind of the implication of this flashback scene.
There's something like that, yeah.
So that's why Gentle Criminal's big thing doesn't work. It just doesn't. And the problem is that the narrative cares so little about Gentle Criminal. This encounter with him is not the final episode in the arc.
Nope.
The next episode is a concert episode, which the audio mixing on the actual concert is just awful.
Yeah, it's not great.
like the big song is like so in the background, it sounds like somebody's playing some music in the room behind you really loud. And they're acting like this is just like a little school festival thing, and like they're in this massive,
they're in the gym, aren't they?
Concert hall, like they're acting like it's fucking prime Metallica going up on stage here, and like 20,000 people have shown up to watch this concert.
I think they're supposed to be in the gym, if I remember right, something like that.
But
it's like, just there's so many people. Yeah,
I'll give them credit. I like the airy smiling bits. I like the whole Deku Mirio airy thing. I like that. I think it's fine. I don't need... How many episodes is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes devoted to this. I don't. Right?
They could have done 2.
The school festival arc needed to be 2 episodes, and none of the Gentle Criminal or Labrava stuff needed to be in it.
That could have been its own side thing.
Maybe that is. Maybe that be its own side thing and just make that its own arc. But it doesn't need to be these 2 arcs don't need to be sandwiched together and made 6 episodes. There's no reason for it. And then there's a beauty pageant subplot that I don't even know why it exists.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
So I don't get the beauty pageant thing because it's not about any of our main characters. It's about only side characters. There's no real conflict in it at all. Like,
No.
it's a beauty pageant, and then like big 3 girl goes out and dances around in the sky and makes a rose, and everybody's like, "Yep, she's the pageant queen," and none of her competitors seem like all that upset by it. They're like, "Yeah, this was fun."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's no personal stakes. There's nothing. It's just like a thing that happens.
If I remember right, Momo is in it, isn't she? And then there's also...
No.
She's not?
None of... At least...
Oh, wait, no, it's
I watched these episodes.
What's this? It's the hand girl, the big hand girl, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Big Hand Girl from 2A, who's a side character...
At best.
It is me being extremely generous to Class 2A at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, not even any one of our 1A people are in it.
No.
I think somebody suggested that Momo go in it, and she was like, "Nah, I want to help out with the Class 1A stuff.
I think that's what it was. I think they're like, "Oh, Momo, you're really hot. You should go in."
So Festival as an arc is just a total failure. and I hate it. And this makes me really petty. I hate the fact that it's the OP for the second half of this season. Is completely focused on it. I hate the fact that Kanabun made Star Maker for this because Star Maker is not that great a song. Compare it with like Baton Road from like Boruto or literally any other song that Kanabun has put out, and it's really not that good. And then just like I don't know if this was like a thing just by Crunchyroll, but when you watched like the school festival arc, was the song in English?
Yes.
Like I don't know if that's a thing that just happened, like they just put an English song in there and it was supposed to be Japanese, or if they just have an English song. I know what you're saying. I don't understand.
Sorry.
To be clear, this is like if somebody was having a battle of the bands at your local high school and some kids came up and just started singing in Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just why it's weird. Is that like nobody would be like, oh, this is cool. People would be like, this is fucking weird. This is cringy. You know what I mean?
All Might would love it.
All Might would love it. Okay, so following the festival arc, which is just broken and I hate it, we have the Endeavor Nomu fight. I like this arc. We're gonna get into this We're gonna get into this later. I like the stakes of this arc, I should say. The stakes of this arc is that, because we're in the stakes still, if people care, we kind of got sidetracked into why Festival doesn't work in its entirety. We'll get a little bit back. I like the stakes in the Endeavor arc. The Endeavor arc stakes are kind of similar to the heroes reasserting themselves, but it's more of a personal question. It's can Endeavor be the symbol of peace? I like that.
Can he step up to the plate?
Yeah, and I like that because it also relates to Todoroki, who's an important side character. I like it, okay? My problem is that that's immediately followed by Survival Test. I know that the final season of My Hero had some issues with COVID. I know that there were some issues about putting stuff out, but this was a fundamental decision as to what should go where.
Right.
I don't know if this is anime only. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't read the... Do you pronounce it manga or manga? Because I know people do both.
It's manga.
I heard it was based on your region in Japan.
I don't know, but as far as I know, it's manga.
Oh, I'll say manga then. I have not read the manga either, so I couldn't tell you if it's only anime.
But we're not reviewing the manga. We're reviewing the anime, and
True.
It's in the anime, and it's both unnecessary because I believe it's a survival test for the provisionary license exam, which we already had, and all of our heroes already had provisional licenses. So are they preparing for another exam? Is there another exam that I'm forgetting that they have to go do?
I don't think so.
Or like why is this? Because it's not said, oh, this is just training for when you're a hero.
It's a specific. They specifically call it out.
Yeah, they're like, this is training for the provisional license exam. This is going to be like what you might have to do there. I have a problem with this in that if you remember in season 1, they literally have a gymnasium or like they have a domed area that is literally set up.
They have a lot of stuff. They have like they have the like giant city behind the school.
Yeah, but no. Remember, they specifically say in season 1, this is where we train for our survival. This is where we do like disaster response training.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So why do they just go to random city location A?
Yeah.
Why don't you just call back to this cool place you made full of like disaster training? Okay, that's just like a minor nitpick.
I mean, I guess because that's where the League of Villains or whatever showed up first. They're like, hey, maybe we shouldn't just do it again here.
Like maybe I don't know. I'm sure the author has a reason.
That's the only.
Maybe it's hard to draw. But that's just me that's just a little minor nitpick. That's a cinema sin. So it's not good faith criticism, and I acknowledge that. But this is what. But I don't like it because it has the lowest possible stakes of the entire series.
Right.
In that the survival test is literally a test to just like it's just like a dry run. Like the provisional license exam sucks because its stakes are very low. It's like, do the heroes get basically get the MacGuffin that we're just gonna put in there that you're just now hearing about for reasons. That's why that sucks. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even that. It's we're going to practice so that we can get that.
Yeah.
And it's on the school with the sensei around. And I realize that in this, Ida gets hurt. Or Ida. Ida gets hurt. And so, like, he fucks up his leg and he gets, like, a concussion or something. So, like, there is a sense of, like, the kids are in danger. But even Aizawa is like, yeah, I'm going to be pushing them pretty hard. But don't worry, I got contingencies in case shit's not
He's just, like, sipping his coffee in the corner, like, another day.
So it's like the characters are in danger, but they're not in danger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we don't end up saying anything about these heroes that we don't already know.
Right.
Except for maybe Bakugo. But even then, like, Bakugo is consistently characterized as being a guy who flies off the hinge, but is actually really smart.
But is also, like, super narcissistic.
Yeah, and like logical thinking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we don't learn anything more about Bakugo. So my problem is that, like, the stakes of this season are just all over the place. And so if you get past Overhaul, it's very, very hard to get to Endeavor where good stakes are again.
Right.
It's very hard. So I would not be surprised if most people stop watching season 4 sometime in the festival arc. Like I did. I stopped at episode 83, so if you stopped watching sometime around then, let me know. I want to know how far did a lot of people get. Some people probably finished it. It just was so hard to stay with it.
I think I watched the Endeavor fight, but I don't think I actually watched the OVAs, the episode OVAs. Not like the because I was like, what is this?
Oh yeah, like, I guess this is like an OVA, but still, it's like attached to it.
Yeah, that plan things better, people.
Yeah. Either way, I'm going to call it season 4 because that's where it's included in. Even if you take that out, which you can, it pisses me off that it's there. But this may have been like a Crunchyroll thing. Now that you pointed that out to me, when I was watching it, it was not. That was not made clear to me. So this may be a Crunchyroll and not a My Hero problem.
It could also have been we're in the middle of COVID. We can't work immediately on season 5. Let's put this out so that we can keep people interested, I guess. But they didn't do it well.
So I think in total, up to the Endeavor fight's 24 episodes. So that was a full season.
Right.
But when I restructure it, I will say there's stuff you can still take out.
Yeah.
Like I said, you did not need 6 episodes for the festival.
No, not at all.
Either way.
I mean, it was cool, like we mentioned, that like Jiro is getting more character building, but like still.
Yeah. So my other problem with this is an overall theme. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is you made a conscious decision somewhere along the way, a director or a writing committee or somebody made a conscious decision to include the overhaul PLE Festival and Endeavor arcs as a season.
Yes.
They said, we're going to make these 24 episodes. Why? Why did you include these 4 things? If your answer is because those were the 4 chapters that best created 24 episodes of anime that haven't been animated yet, that's a gutless reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it also ignores the fact that stories have thematic tie-ins.
Right.
So, what is this season trying to say? And there's this idea that Overhaul and the Endeavor fight are kind of the same thing, where it's like these heroes are trying to fill the gap left by All Might.
Yes.
/ trying to overcome their failures. Okay, so like they're trying to overcome their failures. There's the Deku Miro, kind of their guilt over failing Eri, Endeavor with his family.
It also kind of goes more into the whole the hero society is super fucked up if you look at it, like the way
I don't
things
even
happen.
think it's trying to say that.
I get like vague themes of it, but if they are trying to say,
there's vague themes of that in Gentle Criminal.
That too, but like there's there's like the Overhaul, like everyone's super dependent on these guys, and we take it away.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll give you that. Maybe there's some talk about that. There's also maybe this small theme about sort of this generational heroing, as like their generations are interacting, and maybe there's this inspiration between generations.
Right.
Because we kind of have Night Eye and All Might. We have Wings and Endeavor. We have Deku and Murio in terms of All Might as well. So it's kind of this like idea of like how the hero, this sort of idea of like the inspiration of heroes, which is good. Which I kind of included because like with All Might gone, like all the heroes have lost their kind of their inspiration.
Right.
So Gentle Criminal, I think, like to your point, kind of tries to tie into that. With the fact that Gentle kind of fails to overcome.
Yeah.
But like as we said, his arc then immediately has the legs taken out from under it.
Yes.
Where it's like the healers are like, oh yeah, this guy doesn't matter at all. You know what I mean? Like Deku doesn't seem to be like upset over the Gentle Criminal thing. He immediately goes to have a fun concert with his friends.
He's like, oh, I got roughed up. Let me go wash off real fast.
Yeah, like he goes to the nurse and gets a Band-Aid, and that's the end of it. So it's like he doesn't emotionally reflect on it. The heroes don't emotionally reflect on it. Literally the only character who matters in that arc is Gentle Criminal, who only matters because it's his arc.
Right.
So it's like there's no sort of solid tie-in there. And then if our theme is this, if overall Endeavor kind of encompass the themes, why do we need the festival arc? Why do we need the provincial licensing exam arc? Why do we need these? Why do they? In my notes, I included the survival training, or the survival test, but you know we kind of have seen it, and you kind of pointed out it's actually an OVA. Okay, I get it. That's Crunchyroll pissing me off more than it is the show. Even then, survival training is terrible. Don't watch it. It's bad. Why do we need them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might say, Festival, well, Jiro overcomes her failures, at which point I'll say, not really.
Yeah. She grows a bit, but she doesn't do much.
Because Jiro's arc in Festival, I'm about to piss off a lot of people. So if you're watching this now, understand that if you look down in the comments, and this has gotten a lot of views, there's probably a lot of people talking about how I'm including politics in their anime. My Hero has a big flaw that Season 4 really points out, which is it has this kind of passive misogyny to it. And what I mean by that is it's not like old shonen. Where like in an old shonen, I realize I gotta hurry up because we're at 43 minutes already.
Yeah.
In an old shonen, you know, like the female characters are basically just eye candy / get sexually assaulted every 30 minutes.
Right.
So female characters in My Hero are actually characters. They have their own personalities. They aren't treated as sex objects, with a few exceptions. But my problem with it is that female characters basically never have anything to do.
Yeah.
Or they never do anything, I should say. In Season 4 especially, they're always just kind of like thrown to the side.
I forget, did Uravity and the third year chick, when they were fighting in the Overhaul arc, did they actually do anything in the fight?
They have their fight up top.
I know that, but like, did they
it.
actually like? Are they the ones that won the fight, or did the Dragon Lady show up again and win?
Dude, who gives a fuck? It was like 5 seconds.
That's true.
It was 5 seconds of all the ladies up top fighting on the street. Then Deku / Overhaul destroyed the ceiling, and then they're like, "Oh, this is some shit." And they're like, "Yeah, this is some shit." And then we get Deku's Spirit Bomb moment.
Right.
So we have that. Girls do jack all. I don't remember a single thing that any character other than Todoroki and Deku did in the provincial licensing exam. So I assume they didn't do anything there either.
Is that the one where Gang Orca shows up?
Gang Orca's in it, and like Deku confronts Toga, who's maybe the most active female character in the show.
Right.
And even then, her main character trait is I'm evil and I love Deku.
I'm an insane psychomaniac who has who falls in love with this one man.
The most important thing that female characters do is put together the class concert.
Yeah.
It's like Mina and Jiro and I think Momo or something. They run the big 3 areas of the concert, which is like so, like, to me this is so bad. Like Jiro's arc, if you want to call it that, is that she's very shy about her musical background. And so she has to learn to not be upset that she's an awesome musician.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Her arc is directly parallel to Kirishima's arc during Overhaul.
And then it's like, I think it's even in the song. They do like a cutscene to like her being like, I don't want to be a musician. I want to be a hero.
And her parent, it's not like her parents are like, fuck you, little bitch.
No, they're like, oh yeah, sure, go for it.
We're going to disown you for this. And so like she has like this negative associated with being a musician. They're like, that's fine, sweetie. We give you all the love and support that you could need. So it's like she's not overcoming anything other than like
her own indecisiveness or
like her own insecurity about the fact that she can play like 9 instruments.
Yeah.
Which nobody on the planet is insecure about the fact that they can play 9 instruments.
No.
Nobody. A band nerd might be like, yeah, I can play 9 instruments. But like if you were like, oh yeah, could you play me something? Most of the time they're gonna be like, sure. You know what I mean?
What do you got any requests?
Yeah, like you're not gonna recognize it because it's like a fucking marching song or whatever, but you know, like let me bust out my flute here or whatever. Like, so it's already insulting. It's especially insulting when you compare it with Kirishima, whose entire arc is about being a hero and like stepping up to the challenge, and like he also has to overcome his shyness, and it's like he's trying to become more outgoing and all of that. But it directly ties in with the fact that he's trying to like establish himself as a hero in all this. So he gets this fun arc that establishes himself more as a hero, and Jiro learns to sing.
Not even that, she learns how to not be scared to sing.
Yeah. Do you see what my problem
is? Yes, I see it very much. I hope...
if you go back through and you watch the show now, you'll see it. The most, like the most front and center a female character gets is Ochako versus Bakugo in the tournament.
Right.
Every other time, the female characters are basically just support characters for the men to do something fun. This isn't me saying that like Hiro Aka has terrible female representation or anything. What I'm saying is that Hiro Aka, a big flaw in it is that it doesn't care about its female characters.
Yeah,
it doesn't want to take the time to make them cool or useful.
There's a lot of potential for them and their powers.
Yeah. So I literally just finished watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and maybe next week we're going to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen some more. I want everybody to just go watch the final episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. Don't worry, I'll wait. All right. That was great, right? Did you see how awesome that the female character was? You see that? That's what I'm talking about, is that she has this really cool moment where she's part of the fight. She's kind of a pivotal part of it. She has a badass moment where she literally impales herself with nails. In the middle of a fight because like that hurts the opponent more than it hurts her. That's awesome. That's great. Now go rewatch any big fight where a female character is involved in My Hero. Don't worry, I'll wait. All right, now you're back from that. Yeah, that was significantly less important, wasn't it? Yeah, that was my problem. That's my problem too. Okay. A bigger problem, or an equally as big problem, I think, that season 4 kind of reveals, is this idea of pacing.
Right.
Which is Hiro Aka is so breakneck all the time that for some reason we get dumb shit like the festival arc being 6 episodes, but we get 2 episodes of the Endeavor stuff.
Maybe they got like a bad review and they're like, oh, we should just slow things down.
The thing is that like I have to ask I wish I could ask the director, what is more important, the festival or Endeavor versus Nomu? What is more important? You know, make the decision. The provisional licensing exam, is that more important, where we introduce a bunch of side characters that don't show up again for the rest of the season? Is that more important than the Nomu fight? No, it's not. So why does this get 2 jammed-packed episodes where like stuff happens so quickly and stuff is so passed through so fast that Endeavor literally has to spell out the point of the fight at the very end?
Yeah.
So just in season 4 alone, I'm going to go through some of these fights that I think could have used some breathing room. And like, I understand it's hard. You'd actually have to like think about it and edit and make conscious decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you and your writing committee are getting paid big bucks. I expect you to be able to figure out the pacing. Miro versus Overhaul, as far as I remember, is just basically a montage.
Yeah, it's very quick, and doesn't he get impaled?
He does, but that's because he gets his quirk taken away.
Right.
I said spoilers.
Yeah, so we spoiled it enough already.
he's trying to protect her, and he's really frustrating, and they eventually like target her. But basically, it's either like half the episode, or maybe it's a full episode. But for the most part, it is pretty montagey.
It's supposed to make Deku have more of a reason to fight because he's seeing his friend dying on the side.
Or something. And so it's like his entire character is just kind of thrown aside for the Deku versus Overhaul fight, which, you would think is multiple episodes. I think it's 2.
I think it's 2, right.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think that...
It might be 3. It might be that he fights in the weird cave, and then they break out into the superpower
so looking
fight.
at it, there is an episode named Lemillion, so maybe his fight is longer than that, but I think the first half of the episode is him actually showing up.
Something like that.
Unforeseen Hope, which I think is
Deku shows
the
up
fight
on the scene.
down in the like thing.
Yeah.
And then like he breaks it, and then there's Infinite 100%, which I believe only about 3/4 of that's the actual fight. So when I say that Deku versus Overhaul is basically just a giant spirit bomb moment instead of a proper fight scene, what I mean is that the entire fight is just broken up as Deku basically just powering up and throwing the spirit bomb.
Pretty much.
Okay? It's that part of the Goku-Frieza fight. So there's no give and take, there's no pull. It's literally Deku shows up. As soon as he shows up, he kicks the shit out of Overhaul for the next 2 minutes. Gentle Criminal, he's done just raw. Okay?
Yeah.
His entire motivation and La Brava's backstory, her motivation, all of that is shoved into like an episode and a half. So it's like we have more flashbacks in Gentle Criminal's fight than we have the actual fight itself. Or we have like actual interactions between Deku and Gentle Criminal. So it's just that's another reason why it doesn't work. And then Endeavor's arc is just so rushed. It's like this is so important, and it's important. I'm gonna now kind of go into like almost like I'm gonna plot out what should have happened in my mind. So the pacing of Gentle Criminal is just fundamentally flawed.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna redo it, you just have to fundamentally rewrite the entire arc.
Rewrite the entire second season.
But like Endeavor versus Nomu just needed time. Like, you needed to do it right.
You needed at least 2 more episodes.
So, for instance, Endeavor needs a lot to be redeemed.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. Like, Endeavor, at the start of the series...
is the biggest asshole.
He is, at best, just shy of beating his wife.
I wouldn't even say best. That's like, he did beat his wife.
That's, at best, he is just shy of being a domestic... being involved in domestic violence. At worst, he's raping his wife.
Yeah. And like abusing his children at the same time.
Right? It's like at best he doesn't love his children, and he pushes Todoroki too hard, and he's just shy of being a wife beater. At worst,
he is a wife beater and a child abuser.
Yeah, the worst implication is that his children say that like they put too much on his mom, which might just be code for he was raping her.
Could be.
This is a side where I just say I think that mom got way too fucking easy for maiming her kid.
That's true.
Like, all the blame got thrown on Endeavor.
She's in like a mental hospital, isn't she?
She is, but like if you watch the actual arc, her kids are just yay, you're fine, Mom.
I mean,
it's all his fault. Like, fuck that.
I did like the thing of how like Todoroki is also fighting through this weird feelings he has for his mom. Not weird in the like love sense, but like his mom burned his face, and he's trying to get over it.
But he expresses that as he hates his dad. His mom's the one who burned him, but he doesn't use. It's not like he doesn't use his mom's powers.
That's true.
So, I'm just gonna kind of quickly go over this. I think the Endeavor versus Nomu fight needed to be 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I just do. I think you need to figure out how you're going to condense the other stuff or just cut out stuff and get us 4 episodes of this.
Right.
Episode 1 should show Endeavor like delivering the flowers to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that way it's not just a moment when like the kids show up and they're like, Dad's an asshole, and she's like, no, look, these flowers. I told him I liked them once, and so he delivers them to me every day. Like, don't tell us that. Show us that.
Right.
He shows up to the hospital. He puts the flowers down. The nurse is like, oh, whatever. Nurse is like, not going to go see you today. And he's like, yeah, I'm not worthy of seeing her or something. And he leaves. Okay.
Something that shows,
yeah.
What's it called? Not sadness, but regret. That's what it is.
Yeah. Show that he has regret. Show that he's trying to some degree. Show us his relationship with his other kids. Like, we know that Todoroki and him are, we're going to call it lukewarm.
I think he doesn't even talk to his other kids. Isn't that it? Something like that?
Yeah. Like we never see him interacting with them. So, like, show that he's, like, trying in some way. I'm not quite sure how you're going to do that.
Make it really awkward and make it really funny.
Maybe the first half of this episode's literally he wakes up at the house, he's trying to, like, make breakfast or something, and all of his kids are like, fuck you, and they move on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, maybe he's, like, walking around and, like, he sees all the pictures of his kids, and, like, maybe he has a forlorn face or something.
Or he's not even in the pictures.
So like, give us some development here. Show us his regret and all that. Then you can keep the Wild Wild Pussycats moment for the back half of the episode to explain the billboard thing, all of that. Then you start the next episode, keep that. Keep the billboard moment with Wings.
You mean Hawks?
Whatever his name is. Keep all of that. We're going to show him on the stage. Endeavor says the thing. Keep them backstage. Insert a little bit more of the wife and kids.
Show something about them targeting Endeavor now.
Yeah. And so what I also say here is we need to see his efforts to make up for his crimes. So maybe when, like, they go down to whatever city they go to, because Wings is like, I need to see this. Maybe both show him trying to be nice to that kid, and then maybe show that, like, he's, like, looking for, like, a souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
For his family, and he feels really stupid about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he stops in front of, like, a souvenir store and he looks in and maybe he has an inner monologue of like, oh, maybe they would like something.
Yes, Hawks. Do you get keychains for your children?
Stupid. You know what I mean? Show that. Nomu attacks at the end of the episode. Next episode, we have the fight.
Yeah, or the start of the fight.
I dislike the start of this fight because there's that moment where, like, they go through the building and the building starts to fall, but, like, it's so unreadable. So that choreography needs to change. But other than that, what I want to see is have Endeavor be getting tired during the fight, show Todoroki and the other kids showing up and seeing the fight on the TV, so we don't just cut and he's, like, standing there looking at the TV. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have him actually physically show up while the other kids are watching, like, while the other heroes are watching. Like, oh no, Todoroki, don't watch. It's fucking awful. And like no, he's gonna stand there and he's gonna watch. Maybe throw in a little bit of flashbacks and cut away maybe to All Might reflecting on who Endeavor is. Whatever. Right? Then the creature, pokes out his eye or whatever. Cut to a flashback involving him first meeting / whatever with the mom. Right?
Right.
And have them talk about how they, like, because their powers are so complementary to each other, and because, maybe, like, they want to have a kid. They want to have a Todoroki who's able to save even more people than either of them. Right? Make it a shared dream. Where he took it too far, but she was still up for it for a while. You know what I mean?
For 3 or 4 kids, I forget how many.
Yeah, but be like, they both want this, and they want it because that kid would be capable of being the next symbol of peace or whatever. He would be able to surpassing All Might and doing even more than All Might could. Mm-hmm. Right? Have them have really good intentions, have them both be on the same page. Then end with the sequence of the little boy screaming at the news and show Endeavor powering up again. Right?
Right.
So, while this is going on, in the fight, the like smart Nomu throws off all the other Nomus to distract the heroes. But as they're fighting, have him keep absorbing them to pick up quirks again, because Endeavor keeps beating him.
Right.
And then have him be like, I can't lose to you and all of that. Or like some dumb shit like that, and have that be part of one of the flashbacks that Endeavor has with All Might. Have him literally repeat word for word something that Endeavor said to All Might. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, in our next episode, Endeavor and Wings will then team up. They'll do all of that. Right?
Uh-huh.
Wings does the thing where he talks about how Endeavor was always trying to get stronger. He wasn't going to be complacent. He was the only person who kept trying to surpass All Might. He was the only hero who had enough like fire and passion to try and be even better. Everybody else was relying on All Might. He was the only guy who was willing to still try and make it on his own merit. Right?
Right.
This is make this the thing that is heroic about him, but also his greatest flaw. You know, is that like he wanted to get stronger, and in doing so, he's an inspiration, and like he's now, that's why he's worthy of being the number one guy. But at the same time, we've seen how this thing is something that also destroyed his relationships. During the fight, have Endeavor have the stupid shonen monologue about wanting to be the new symbol for his kids and wife who he failed, and how he hopes they can see his flames even now, or just some dumb shit like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Have that moment. Cut to his wife. She's watching now somehow. Nurse brought in a portable TV.
She wheeled it in on the cart, and
yeah, they have like the old school projector, but she's watching now. This is where he finally plus ultras and does the beam. But instead of doing the beam where like he slowly fades out in the thing, show it from the street perspective. Show it from like the news where like this massive beacon of fire shoots up into the sky.
And then a comet falling to the ground.
And then yeah, like there's some smoke falling to the ground and it just collapses. We don't know who won the fight, right? We cut to Toto, we cut to the kids, we cut to the wife, right? We cut to all of them. They all kind of have this thing of
we cut to
like,
All Might
this look of like disbelief, suspense. They look worried, all of that. Finally, you cut to that scene of him with his fist raised, and everybody has their big heroic reactions, right? That should be officially the end of the episode. Then we get a small epilogue following the credits, where Endeavor is somehow has ended up in the same hospital with his wife. He's getting a checkup. Judging by season 5, apparently he's spoilers for episode 5. If you didn't want those, skip ahead now. You know, maybe he's in the bed. You know, like that. His wife shows up. They have the big apology moment. The kids show up. Big apology. Toto shows up. They have a moment. Toto says some dumb shit like, what are you doing? You know, like he says some dumb, edgy teenager shit like, what are you doing? The symbol of peace doesn't have time to be relaxing in a hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We ended on a big emotional high note that way. That's just my idea of like
how to make
what
it
you
good.
get. Instead, you get a fight that doesn't you get like, you know, like he's not redeemed any.
No.
He's just like a character who did a heroic thing. And yeah, it's important, but like Endeavor's a dickhead. Endeavor's a piece of shit. You don't just get to have Endeavor raise his fist and we'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like have there some emotional closure to this. You know? Alright. That's that. That was nearly an hour. Alright, now we're going to talk about episode 5.
Quickly, you mean season 5?
Season 5, episode 1.
There's not much to talk about, really, though, so it'll be
yes,
quick.
So it's great. That's why I don't like season 4. Basically, pacing, themes, tone, just general setup. I find that those things are so lacking, and it makes it such a hard slog to get through. So, season 5, first episode. It's okay.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot for it. It was basically an empty bag with like 3 coins in it.
Yeah. From what I've read, it's a anime only.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's an episode that's meant to kind of show off the heroes,
reestablish everybody.
Which I don't think you need to go through and do the whole narrator saying their name thing again.
Right.
Not to get into spoilers, I think that they didn't spend enough time with some of the heroes. Some of the... I like what they did with the scout team. I think that those 3 characters don't get enough time.
Yeah, they should definitely do more.
I like the fact that they gave Sugar Man something to do.
Right.
He honestly never does anything, so it's
nice that he
just
up
had something
once.
to do in the episode. You know what I mean?
I think he showed up once with what's his name, Red Riot, when they were doing the fight against the teacher or whatever, and then they failed spectacularly.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. So I mean, like he honestly gets so little to do. So I'm glad he got his moment. His moment was he threw a character, but whatever.
He ate some candy bars and hulked out.
I like a lot of the stuff of what they did with the quirks. To not get too spoilerly, I liked a lot of the quirks. Kind of got used in some interesting ways. I think a lot of them then were kind of like not used very interesting, but I think some of them got some really, like some of them it's like, oh, okay, this is a really clever way of using that.
They made a new way of doing things that they didn't before.
I like how they made Jiro seem more powerful. I was just talking about how female characters typically have nothing to do. In 90% of the female cast in this episode have nothing to do.
Definitely.
Jiro, though, has something to do when she does it, and it's really cool, and she seems really strong with like the range of what she's able to do.
Yeah.
Even though it's not like direct combat or anything, I think it's really strong.
It's a support quirk at that point.
Yeah. I like what they did with the guy in the animal voice thing.
Oh,
I like how they also put him on the scout team.
Mm-hmm.
So I like kind of that thinking. I like actually the use of Mineta and like him like throwing his balls. Like, hold up, this is kind of spoilerly, not really.
It's his power. His power is
he uses his power in a way where like he throws his head balls and it like keeps a bridge from collapsing.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of cool. Like the bridge was collapsed, but he kept
it from causing more damage.
It was cool, and it was like okay, that actually makes his power seem useful.
Yeah.
I liked Mirio. I liked Togata. I like his shtick, and I liked what's his name?
It's like
Sasuke-kun.
It's AGIK something.
Let me look it up.
Agi. Let's just say Agi.
Yeah. I liked him. I thought that was just kind of a nice list of My Hero Academia characters. I'm on Wikipedia. Hopefully this doesn't become a thing. Third-year students. Amajiki. That's who I'm thinking of. I liked him. I liked his little thing. I thought that Hato had nothing to do, which is just more of that, of just like, she was okay, but it was like, of the two, she's definitely the one who was he was more interesting than she was.
Yeah.
Both of the male characters kind of were interesting and funny, and she just wasn't.
She's supposed to be kind of an airhead, isn't she?
She's supposed to be, but like, I don't know. I don't know what my problem is with it. It's like the other two got these really cool character moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Akajiki or whatever I just said, Amajiki. Like he was just like, I'm gonna go home. Fuck this.
He's like, I don't need this.
And Togata jumped back in the river. These are all kind of little spoilery things.
I laughed at that. He was just like, oh, I fell again.
Yeah, like, right, they get these fun comedy moments. She doesn't really, so I dislike that. What'd you think?
Because this is basically just a reassert who the characters are moment. They didn't even get like that for the three big heroes. Yeah,
they just kind of show up.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess this is the intro to the 5th season, so I don't know what's going to go from here.
Yeah.
Like, I love, like, when we get to the next part of it, like, I'll say what I like about it.
Yeah. That's probably a good transition then.
So spoilers for the part that's actually important.
Before the spoilers, this episode has a really important post-credit scene that you need to watch.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're going to take over now. So spoilers, giant exclamation point, click off now. So the spoiler is that Dabi showed up at the end of
the Endeavor fight.
Nomu Endeavor fight. And confronted them somehow. We don't exactly know what happened. And Endeavor's in this hospital bed. And then from the preview, we know that Wings is going to go confront him, and that something weird's going to happen with Deku's powers.
Yeah.
I know what that weird thing is.
I know too, to some degree.
I will say I'm somewhat looking forward to it, but I feel like this is...
They got to do it right.
For people who like the show and like the premise, to me, this is kind of the season where My Hero is going to jump the shark. If you don't know what that means, it's where a show kind of gets bad. That's just a personal opinion of what the show's kind of set up. It's still going to be My Hero to a certain degree, but there's a definite shift in Deku's character with what happens in the season. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the Dabi thing, but I do know what happens with the Deku thing, to make clear.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing it kind of played out, and I'm looking forward to see what people think about that. I'm especially looking forward to see what you think about it.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'll ask you when we're done recording, but I think I know what it is.
Yeah. I'm not going to spoil that far. As far as the episode goes, I think it's a good cliffhanger.
There was also
I dislike how it's after the credits.
That's true. But there was also the interesting, what's it called? The opening screen, the opening song, whatever it is, the OP, OV, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something interesting in that, and there was the what's the dude's name? The mind control guy.
Oh yeah, like I believe this is. I know what happens in it, and I believe this is like the actual final exam. So this season, I believe, is the one that, like, as of next season, I think that they're now going to be like Class 2A.
Gotcha.
I believe. Don't like quote me on that. But they're already down in the fucking comments spoiling it, you fucking assholes. But it's going to be an interesting season. I'm going to be really interested to see what people think about this change. In some ways, it's necessary, which we'll get into probably when it actually happens. We'll probably, like, when it actually occurs and it's on screen, we will do a reaction to that episode probably.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm happy that Jujutsu Kaisen ended, so I can actually, like, watch this show and, like, not be directly comparing them. Because I'll be honest, I don't think that would be a very flattering comparison to My Hero. It will be also interesting to, like, kind of watch this and Shaman King together.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the two different eras of shonen.
And also Eden Zero, is that what it was? Or Edit Zero?
Eden Zero. I have no idea about that.
I just want to laugh at it.
but it'll be interesting, I think. I think there's some interesting concepts that kind of come up over the course of the season. I'm interested to see what happens with the Dabi thing. I'm going to be really pissed off if there's some sort of implication that Dabi's stronger than Endeavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they both have fire powers, so if it's like, oh yeah, but Dabi is way stronger than Endeavor, I'm going to be like, that's fucking bullshit.
I can see him being, like, almost on par, because he seems like a super...
I can't even see that. You know what I mean?
We saw very little of him as a thing, though.
It should be like, Dabi should be absolutely terrified of Endeavor. You know what I mean? Because, like, he knows that, like, against most heroes, his fire is really strong. Against Endeavor, he's going to get fucking bodied.
Yeah.
We've done it again. So, this is the ending of the episode. We done it again. We hit an hour and 15. I distinctly remember saying I don't want to go an hour on these.
Well, you know, we ranted too much.
Yeah, I ranted too much. Hopefully our next one won't be, because I don't think we're going to be talking about that much.
No.
Next episode, I think we're going to plan on just kind of wrapping up the season. We're going to talk about animes that we really liked. I'm probably going to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen.
I'm probably going to tell you how So What I'm a Spider went.
Yeah, how that went. I may get him to watch Wonder Egg, and we'll talk about Wonder Egg. We'll just talk about some stuff we liked, and then maybe we'll do a bit of a preview of stuff we're looking forward to. And then the episode after that should be post we've watched a couple of episodes of stuff.
Right.
So good talking anime with you. Oh, before we go, fuck it, I don't need to talk about it. All right. I was going to talk about the stupid tint filter
Tint filter
in fucking My Hero, where, like, occasionally the screen will just get like blacker for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, God,
I feel like that's just
so
a Crunchyroll thing, because I've seen that in other animes.
Yeah, I have no idea why the fuck they do. Maybe it's a Crunchyroll thing. I don't know. Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's a Crunchyroll thing because I've seen multiple animes do that.
Oh man, it was
it's
just annoying.
Yeah. So, anyways,
maybe it's an anti-epilepsy thing.
That might be.
But good talking anime with you. Hopefully people like this. If you like this video, what should they do, Daniel?
They should like, comment, subscribe, and
if you like this podcast,
they should like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to hear more.
Yeah, I actually do want to hear people's take. Do you guys think I'm right? Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me?
Someone please get in a
I'm sure if this is blown up, there's 50 comments about how the survival test isn't actually part of the season.
Someone please just like hardcore roast Keegan in the comments.
Oh yeah, do it. You're not going to win, but but no, I'm interested. Did I miss anything? Do you think that I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right?
Do you want that One Piece rant from Daniel?
Try and keep spoilers out of the comments. If you spoil something major, we're just going to delete it. So we're still small enough we can do that to you. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.